Okay, so now we have a functioning block. There are 2 bits of configuration that are associated with this block, and that would really be the next logical thing to make sure works. The first is the number of items that are allowed in this block, and the second is a module setting that allows us to set the maximum number that can be set for the number of items to show here. And so that second one is what we're going to do first, since it affects the value of the number of items to show in this block. So let's take a look at our code as it stands right now. I'm going to jump back to our editor and let's take a look at our trails.module file. The configuration page for our module consists of a few different parts. I'm going to scroll up to the top and then let's take a look as we scroll down at Trails menu. So first of all, we define a menu item, and in Drupal 8 we know now this has been split up into 2 different parts. First, we define the route, and second, we define the menu links for the page. So the route, it just creates that page, and the menu links tell us where we're going to display a link. So for a configuration page, for example, we want that to display on our administration page. So this we're going to break out into 2 pieces. And the last part that we need is the bit in our .info file. If we jump back to our code, I'm going to go over to our Trails module and open up trails.info.yml. We have our configure, which points to the route that is where you can configure this module. And this is what causes that gear icon to display on the extend page next to the module. So we have a few things we need to do here in order to get this form to show. In addition, system configuration forms work a bit differently. So if we open up our system form here in trailsadmin.inc, this is the Drupal 7 version, we can use system settings form. But in Drupal 8, this no longer exists, and we have to use a different setup. So again, if we're trying to piece all this together, there's a couple different ways we can start. One is by looking at documentation and trying to follow that and make sure we have all the pieces. And the second is to look at examples in Drupal core. And that's the route we're going to take here, so we can copy and paste and modify until we get something that works. So I think the trick here, just like we did with the block, we're going to try to find the most minimalistic example of a configuration form for a module. So let's go to the browser, and I'm going to go to configuration. And I've actually already clicked through a lot of these links to get a sense of what's there. And I know that Image Toolkit is actually a pretty simple form, so I'm going to click on that. All right, so you can see there's really 2 inputs here. There's a radio box and a text box here. So this seems like a good place to start. So in order to find the code that generates this, we're going to do the same thing we did with the Powered by Drupal block. We're going to try to find a unique string and search for that. Luckily, this form contains all sorts of unique strings. So I'm going to grab Select an Image Processing Toolkit, and then I'm going to jump to the editor and do a project-wide search for that text and click Find. Okay, we have 1 usage. That narrows it down quite a bit. I'm going to open up the file that's found in.